on season 1, episode 3. How you been, Scott?
I've been well. I've been well. How are you?
I've been good. Um, had a good school week. A lot of classes. We're in the second week at school here at Purdue. I think you guys are in the second week at IU as well. It's very, very cold. Like literally negative 15 almost every day with wind chill. It just snowed
Oh
last
yeah,
night.
it makes going to class 10 times harder.
IU and Purdue played this week. We're at rival schools. If you guys have heard of us, um, Purdue basketball won, by the way. Scott was at the game.
I was. I had good seats to watch what was a terrible performance on IU's side, but it's a learning experience. I'm confident we'll win at least one more game this year, and it will be in Mackey. So
Hey, they won
look
last
forward
year in the
to it.
second go. So
They did,
you never know.
and the first.
And the first, yes. I wasn't going to touch on that. Been listening to a lot of music this week. Uh, I went to a ballet with Maggie called Dance Theater of Harlem.
Okay.
It was celebrating MLK Week, and there was a lot of Stevie Wonder that I have never heard before, and I was very, very intrigued. Maybe we should do a maybe we'd have to do a podcast on Stevie Wonder sometime. He's an interesting guy.
Yes, and he's an all-time great as well.
Of course, I've
But
been listening to some ELO, some Beatles, Judas Priest, quite a bit of it. Going to a concert here soon.
oh
In
yes,
April. Tried to get Scott to go, but
I gotta focus on my school.
that is the main focus. Yes. What have you been listening to?
Um, more. Oh, hold on. More and more Beatles. Um, every time I feel like I've listened to all of them, there's another song that'll pop up. And Beatles, 21 Savage came out with an album that's like a complete 180, but his new album has been pretty good. Kid Cudi's album's all right. I need to give it some more time. Um, but you know who else I've been listening to?
Who's that?
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, something about him.
Something about him. Well,
Talk
it's almost
about
like
that.
we're talking about Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. Whack.
Fleetwood Mac this week. Yes, Fleetwood Mac. So Fleetwood Mac's an interesting band. I honestly never really listened to them until I got to college. They just didn't appeal to me. And funny story about that. Freshman year of
Okay.
high school, I rode the bus. Couldn't drive to school yet, and it was in between swimming season and school. That weird in between when we didn't have club practice in the morning, so we didn't drive. We
Mm.
took the bus. My bus driver would play the same Fleetwood Mac song every single morning, and it ruined it for me. And it was always "Go Your Own Way" every morning.
That's okay. That's
And it's
different.
it's not even that. It's not like it's a bad song. It's just
It would be. Any song would be ruined if it was played every morning.
it. Yeah, it got. Ugh, I still hate it. I do not like "Go Your Own Way," but
That's
it did start
unfortunate.
something for Fleetwood Mac, and I've grown to like it quite a bit. I've grown to like Fleetwood quite a bit.
Did you like it at first when he was playing it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the first 10 times,
Okay.
the first week of school, and then I was like, nah, not anymore, man.
It's about that 400th time where you're like, okay, I need something new.
I really found a new interest in Fleetwood Mac when uh, my family and I we went to Hawaii this summer. We went to Oahu and we went to Maui. And I got off the airplane in Maui and there was this huge ad for Fleetwood Mac in the airport and I was like, "No, this is weird. They're not from Hawaii or anything." There's a restaurant, a Fleetwood Mac restaurant in Maui, Hawaii that was just awesome and it was started by and owned by Mick Fleetwood,
Mhm.
and it's in Lahaina. So, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this business burnt down, but cool nonetheless.
Oh, that's a sad note to end on.
It was, but that's really what sparked a lot of my interest again, along with Maggie. Maggie really got me started into Fleetwood Mac. Her favorite song is "Mystified." Have you ever heard it?
What album's it on? Do you know?
Let me look. I don't know the name. It is Fleetwood Mac. That was the album.
Did you know that wasn't their first
Or no. Sorry, no.
album?
It was Tango in the Night,
Tango.
which is actually a really good album if you listen to it. I would say every single song on this album is a hitter.
Everywhere is on it.
Yeah. Everywhere, Mystified, Tango in the Night's on there. Seven Wonders, When I See You Again.
Mystified's actually one of the less streamed songs.
That is interesting, but
Still
it's
good.
oh, you should listen to it, man.
I'm adding it to my likes.
Um, but it kind of this song or this album especially really makes me think how weird, or not weird, how diverse Fleetwood Mac is. You have um, their main albums like Rumors, and then you have Tango in the Night, which is completely opposite, and it makes sense. Or not opposite, just very very different, and it makes sense because they're 10 years apart. But
Yeah, that is a lot of time to. Were they the same members? I guess you probably want to know that off the top of your head.
um, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I know that um, actually no, I'd have to look that up. I'm pretty sure Stevie. I wish Spotify did a better job of
The descriptions.
yeah who was in the music,
Mm.
because like we like to say we know a lot about music, but when you start talking about music, you know nothing. Seriously,
Yeah.
there's there's a podcast that we got inspiration from. Well, Scott got inspiration from. What's the exact? Is it NFR, NRL,
NFR.
NFR podcast? They are like geniuses.
Very knowledgeable.
I don't know how.
Mostly with rap, but like rap and hip hop.
Yeah,
But yeah, they know everything, it seems.
they know every in and out, every little fact. They're like Nardwar, dude. Maybe
Okay, they're
even
not
better.
that good. No.
Uh, pff,
Nardwar
well,
knows the most obscure things.
he does, but like they can just ring off anything. Maybe not like
It's more
the
like a wide
ins and
range of
outs of their life.
knowledge. Maybe not that
Yeah,
specific, but a lot of knowledge about a lot of different artists.
that's very true. Um, but yeah, Fleetwood, kind of talking about that time period. You know, Rumors was made in 1977, and then you have um, Tango in the Night that comes out in 1987. Now, if you jump back maybe like 20, I think their first album came out 20 years before Rumors. Let's see.
Potentially.
It won't show me because I remember. So one of our other good friends, Avery, he was telling us how different Fleetwood used to be, and neither one of us really
Oh
liked it.
yeah. I forgot about that. Like completely different.
Yeah, completely different. We neither one of us really knew um, what they really were before.
Well, because they're kind of like a blues band turned rock.
Yeah.
If you go way back, there's a lot less of that rock and a lot more of that blues.
Let's see. Yeah, their first album came out in
68?
1968. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful. And these are songs that I feel like you kind of have to go looking for almost. They don't just pop up. Like if you look up a rock and roll or a Fleetwood Mac radio, you're not going to get a lot of Mr. Wonderful.
You're not gonna get any Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, if you look at the
They're very
streams,
obscure songs. Yeah.
if you look at the streams, dude, there's not one over 3 million.
On
Here,
Spotify.
yeah, on Spotify. Here's their least listened to on Mr. Wonderful. Stop Messing Around. It's like blues jazz, like very. If you've ever listened to B.B. King or early Elvis or who's another band that would fit that? You know? No? Okay.
I'm not sure what the song sounds like
Very like
itself.
bouncy and it's actually really good. It's just nothing that fits. Kind of Jimi Hendrixy.
Oh. Okay.
It's not on that level of guitar, but it's definitely got that. Ooh. Evening Boogie. I wish you guys could hear these. During our live stream, we'll play our music. Well, not our music. We'll play their music. Talk about it.
Reference the different parts.
But Evening Boogie, yeah, it starts out with some Jimi Hendrixy sounds. But that's interesting because I don't know. What do you think about Fleetwood? Where would they rank?
Out of every artist of all genres,
Out of every artist on all genres, yeah.
for me personally, 65th.
65th. That's oddly specific. Do you have a reason?
Yeah, I just went through 1 through 64 in my head, and then I realized they're right in that 65 spot.
We got a speedy person here. Yeah,
No,
I'd
I
have to
think,
put them low too.
and it's not because they're bad. I don't just, it's like the kind of music you listen to when you're, I don't know. I was gonna say like when you're shopping, but a little more interesting
Shopping.
because the
Okay.
instrumentals. Well, doesn't it make you want to buy something? Maybe that's just me.
I'm trying to listen to their most popular music in my head and think of shopping, and I could see that.
I wouldn't. I mean,
Because,
maybe
like,
not from
you could
rumors.
go your own way, and you're just, like, walking through
Thinking
Kmart
about
or
buying
something.
some. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a hot take, man. You're going to get some hate for that one.
I know.
But I would have to agree. It's definitely not in my top. Fleetwood is not even in my top 10. I put them in my top 20. They're a strong
I
band.
still think pretty highly of them.
Yeah. They're a strong band and they have a lot of creativity. But
Yeah, and I understand that. Like, I recognize their impact, but personally, if I'm listening to something for enjoyment, I do not tend to listen to blues, and I feel like there's still a lot of blues, even in their more popular songs.
And they may not have that punctual sound or lyrics, but they do have some story behind all their songs. I remember Maggie was telling me about one particular song about the chemistry of the band, and it's called Silver Springs.
Okay.
And the track, it's a song from Stevie Nicks' perspective of. So if you didn't know anything, about Fleetwood. The lead guitarist Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks were in a relationship, and like they were in a relationship, and Stevie Nicks was very involved, and Lindsey Buckingham was very not involved, and he kept kind of playing with her, and so she made the song, and it talks about how he will never be able to escape the love that she has for him because they're in the same band. And if you watch the music video, this is where music videos come into play. We were talking about this with Post Malone.
Mm.
It really shows how impactful music videos can become because she is just like staring into his soul and ripping him apart. And you could tell how uncomfortable he is in this song. I don't know. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it was actually supposed to be on the Rumors album, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't to the band's standards. So it got moved.
I think people also like to know that there's or they take comfort in knowing that a band is like coherent and all on the same page. I feel like for that to be on that album would dis disappoint a lot of people.
Just knowing that the band was in kind of turmoil.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I think
think
drama's good, but it's so direct
it's interesting
that
because, I think Stevie Nicks was. What was she addicted to? This is another band like you think of like Motley Crue or uh, help me out with some bands, man. Jimi Hendrix or Grateful Dead or um, Poison. All those bands, right? That have drug problems. They just go crazy. And Fleetwood Mac, the band that sounds so pure and has that blues feeling and you put on while you're shopping. And Stevie Nicks was addicted to coke. So
yeah, maybe that helped.
yeah, yeah,
Laser focus.
yeah. That's a good point.
And she's the first woman to have been inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice for Fleetwood and then for or just as a solo artist a few years later.
Dang.
So clearly she was doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say she's bad. She's awesome. She sounds awesome.
Mm.
I think her and um, what's his face, Fleetwood, the actual Fleetwood. What's his name? Fleetwood Mac. No, no, no.
No, that's not his name.
That's not his name. That's not
Fleetwood's
his
his
name.
last name. It's let's see, there's Peter Green
Uh,
and then was
Nick,
it like John Fleetwood?
I think it's
It's a
John
one
Fleetwood.
syllable word. We should not be messing this up.
Mick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We shouldn't be. But this is another thing. Like, you would think we know a lot about music, but
We're so
there's
stupid,
we are very not intelligent when it comes to music. We just like to
but
listen.
we'll learn more. Yeah. Is there anything wrong with that? Do we have to
No,
know the ins and outs of everybody?
part of this is learning. So, if you guys
But I
ever
guess
have,
we should probably know their names.
yeah, we
That
probably
is a
should.
good step.
That is a good step. But you know what? After doing this, we're gonna know the names. So,
Yep.
if you guys ever have any information or like fun facts about these bands, please comment or message us on Instagram or email us. We would love to chat, talk about it, and maybe even get you involved on an episode with us. So
Pretty
let us
big
know.
stuff.
What's your favorite Fleetwood song?
You asking me or the audience?
No, you.
Um, it's generic, but I like the chain. However, I've heard it so much, kind of like you with your bus driver song.
Yeah, Go Your Own Way.
Yeah, yeah, that it's begun to annoy me a little bit. I also like, and we were talking about Mr. Wonderful earlier. Just a year later, they released The Pious Bird of Good Omen,
Okay.
which had Albatross on it.
Oh,
And
Albatross is really good.
yep, Albatross is one of my favorites. And the fact that there's a year between Mr. Wonderful and the album that contains Albatross is awesome. Because Albatross went number one in the UK, and it's an instrumental. That's a that's a good song.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah. I
You don't hear of that happening.
Albatross is another one of my favorite songs because we in the summers we tend to go with our friends to Scott's cousin's house, Stan's. Um, and Scott and I were out kayaking one day, and we swore we saw an albatross. Well, we didn't know what it was. We saw a
No
big old
idea.
bird that was very colorful,
Yeah.
and it was like black and had orange and yellow on its neck. And we were like, "What kind of bird lives in Indiana
Gotta
that
be an
has those colors?"
albatross.
So we're like,
Yeah.
"Albatross." Somebody listened to that song quite a bit, and it has a good story. We call them Stanimals when we can attach them to the lake house and to music as well. Pretty cool.
Yeah, albatross.
The albatross. Pretty cool.
Even the
Um,
song itself tells a story
yeah, you don't
without
need
any
anything
words.
to it, but
Yeah.
that's something that I actually. So for one of my classes, we were talking about something. I don't know what we were talking about, but basically the teacher asked, or the professor asked, make a connection to something in your life that shows media and diversity. And very quickly I went to music and how you can attach memories and experiences and feelings to each song. So, like, for instance, two stories I've told with memories or stories connected to them. So, like, Go Your Own Way. Yeah, it kind of ruined the song for me, not gonna lie, but that's a really cool memory. And I will forever remember sitting on the bus in high school
In agony, listening to that
yeah,
song.
and just waiting to get to school and see my friends. Or
Yeah.
albatross and like sitting on the lake and watching this crazy bird and wondering what it
Mm.
was. We're pretty sure it was a cramorant, but I don't even know if those live in Indiana.
It was a dinosaur or something.
Yes, it was. Do you have any songs like that? They don't have to be specific to Fleetwood, but just in general.
Well, on the topic of Post Malone, um,
Okay.
I there's a song called "Stay" that we talked about,
Yes, yes.
and I used to, you know how you'd get like fake depressed in high school? You'd almost like
Okay.
make yourself sad, or if you were in a bad mood, you'd listen to sad music.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
I still kind of do that now, but I was like, it was more emo in high school. Uh, "Stay" was like my go-to. It wasn't relatable at all, but I would just be sitting in my room, getting all sad, listening to "Stay." So yeah, as much as I like the song, I associate it with sad little Scott.
Okay, yeah, but that's still a memory, an experience, and a feeling that you can attach to a
Yeah.
song.
And I
Um,
can feel it like immediately every time I hear it.
yeah, it's
Definitely
crazy
a
how
core feeling. Yeah.
music has that power. Um, but back to Fleetwood, man.
Oh yeah,
She
Fleetwood.
she referencing Stevie Nicks, just
Hmm.
a very accomplished person,
Yeah, her
and
first solo album went number one.
I think it's really cool that we're kind of crapping on Fleetwood when it comes to our personal preferences, but you don't see a lot of bands that go from genre to genre. Like they've been in, and now they're at a point where, well, not now, but in their prime, they were at a point when they were incorporating aspects of rock, pop, and blues and folk music, and even maybe some bluegrass in there. And I think that's cool. You don't see that happen a lot where a band switches from genre to genre and is still
They're
good
still killing it. Yeah.
and still killing it. Yeah. Another example would be Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Have you ever listened to their old stuff?
I can't remember. We were talking about Avery earlier. I think he was
Avery
also
brought
trying to
this up
show
again.
me, yeah, old Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, the Chili's they're crazy when it comes to music now, but they were crazy when they started, and it's almost impressive that they didn't get a following or a huge following with that kind of music. Same thing with Fleetwood. They started with those blues, and that was in a popular time of blues, and they didn't pick up traction until they started getting into that rock.
Hmm. I think a lot of rock bands started out with like a blues background.
I
But you
mean,
gotta
yeah,
understand, blues, that wasn't, at that point, that was sort of becoming a thing of the past.
yeah. I think that was
It was a big
Elvis's fault.
influence, but oh, isn't Elvis one of your favorite
Oh yeah,
artists?
I love Elvis, but he took American jazz and blues and then turned it into rock and roll and pop. Like he was that
Like a bridge.
he was the fulcrum, you know,
Ooh,
talking some physics, and that bridge
okay.
flipped. I use my hands a lot when we're podcasting. What are you guys? Are you guys hand talkers or are you guys no hands
Normal
talkers?
people.
Also, we got a new setup today. We've really worked hard to make the interface as easy and as inviting as possible for you guys. So we flipped around the cameras a little bit. And we're experimenting with new sounds and new software to edit. Let us know if it's working. If it's not, we need feedback. So we'd appreciate it. Got some interviews on the forecast. Some solo artists, some bands. Speaking of, a band that reminds me of Fleetwood Mac is the Iron Curtain. So, band out of Purdue, an underground bass. Well, the Purdue underground scene is what it's called. Scott, you've been to you haven't been to the Iron Curtain, but you've been to these band scenes with me. What do you think of them?
In my experience, it was a good time, but I think they definitely could use some improvements. I guess, but for underground bands, they were really good.
Yeah,
And they were like super personal with the audience. I enjoyed
very
it.
very
I had a good
involving.
time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, but Iron Curtain, they just released a new song called Illusions, and I think their band kind of gives off the vibes of Fleetwood Mac. Highly recommend listening. They're on Spotify and Apple Music, I think, right now. Go follow them on Instagram too. Yeah. Do
I'll
you
have
guys
to
have
go to an Iron Curtain artist or an Iron Curtain concert at some point.
Yeah, they're playing a lot more often this year, this semester. So kind of a cool scene that I. Do you guys have an underground band scene at IU, or do you guys have local bands that play run by students?
If we do, then I don't know about it. Maybe it's super underground. I do know a lot of people play at Bluebird.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
20. I've not been, but I know my rock and roll professors played there, so if he's playing, anyone's playing.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Scott took history of rock and roll. I'm very jealous. They don't offer that at Purdue, but Purdue does
Taking it
win
this summer
basketball.
too. Okay, that's this is supposed to be a rock and roll podcast or a music podcast.
Yes,
You're
yes,
making it
yes.
personal.
I was trying to take that rock and roll class, and you were going to send me the information, and nothing. Nothing came through.
I don't think we can do this anymore.
That's fair. That's fair. Um, another thing that pops out to me about Fleetwood Mac is that they were very quick to go worldwide. And I think they were one of the first bands that went worldwide quickly in their career, and they still managed to hang on. They've sold over 120 million records worldwide, which is pretty impressive. I don't know if that includes online.
It does.
Oh, does it? Okay.
They're usually adjusted for that.
So that's pretty good, I'd say.
It's all right.
It's in that 65. Did you say 65 or 68?
60. I think they became a band in 65, but the first album was 68. If that's what you're talking about.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh, I thought you were saying 1965 or 1968.
Oh, no. I was
No,
saying
I had
their
them in
ranking.
65. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that 65th rating worldwide, maybe. It's pretty good for
Yeah.
120 million sales. Yeah. If you had to do a feature, if you had to pair a feature with Fleetwood Mac, who would it be?
This is a band. It's not a solo artist, but the Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I feel
like
like
that.
they're similar and they could cook something up.
I'm
Might be
surprised.
too many artists though.
That'd be
Like a
like
lot of
8 people, right?
clashing probably. Yeah, at least.
It'd be cool to take like Stevie Nicks and what is it, Cat
And Nikki
Stevens,
Six. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nikki Six. That'd be a crazy collab right there.
Stevie, Nikki Six,
Stevie Six,
Nikki
Nikki Nicks.
Steve, Sticky Eve.
That would be whack. That would be whack. Yeah. So Fleetwood Mac,
Oh, or Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I feel like they got a similar
With the whole
vibe.
band
Yeah.
or just one of them. That would be some crazy
Oh, I was
solos.
gonna say just like throw them on guitar with a Fleetwood Mac song.
That would be pretty cool. I would like that. I think he'd add some. He'd kind of pull that
Flavor.
old
He'd
Fleetwood
get them
back.
out of the stores and onto the radio.
Stages.
Yeah.
Yeah, the radio. Yeah, I agree. Um, so we covered Fleetwood Mac this week. Pretty good band. Not our favorites, but we respect them. Let us know what do you guys think of Fleetwood Mac, and we're trying to get some interviews out for you guys. Let us know if you know anyone or if you yourself are an artist looking to be interviewed. Love to have you here. Would love to talk to you. We're anything and everything music. You got anything, Scott?
I'll just say if again going back to I know we haven't been really enthusiastic about Fleetwood, but we can always revisit artists, revisit bands as we get feedback. And I think we probably will end up doing that because at some point we're gonna have at least a little bit of knowledge about the bands we're talking about, and that'll go a long way as far as how enthusiastic we are about them and how highly we think of them.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, you can't be enthusiastic about every band, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be, and like I said, there's a few songs that I love, but hearing more from fans and super fans, or just people that are more knowledgeable, is awesome because then we're able to talk more.
Yes.
Maybe,
Like
and
my dad's
listen
definitely
more.
gonna be like complaining about how much we missed or what all we forgot, and
Is he a big Fleetwood guy?
He will be after this episode. If
Oh,
I'm if I'm talking if I'm not praising any rock artist from the 1880s all the way up to the present day, then I'm not listening to rock well enough. So
that's true. You know, that's one thing you gotta like. Maybe we're not listening enough. Could be listening a
it could
little bit.
be it. It's also the context because this is 2024. We grew up past rock's prime.
Right.
So like, and we definitely grew up past the blues boom. So there's been other music that we've kind of been preoccupied with, and you can never listen to it in the same context. The Beatles
That's one
somehow went past, like, they're still good today, even with their simpler albums in the beginning of their career, which
timeless.
amazes
Yeah.
me. But with most artists, they're not as timeless.
It's that's one thing I always get so sad about music. I can't listen to all of it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think that's also good because you learn to appreciate the good songs even more, learn about them even more. So with that, my name's Lee.
I'm Scott, and this has been Backstage.